Yes. Collins.
Here.
White.
Here.
Schrader. Hinterman here. Paul.
Here.
Bowden.
Here.
Andrews.
Here. Proof of public meeting notice, Aaron.
Yep, notices were posted at both schools, sent to the village of Dickeyville and Cuba City City Hall, and sent to members of the media on Tuesday, May 17th.
Thank you. Item 3 is the board reorganization that occurs every May following the April election. And at this time, I will ask for an election of the officers, and we will start with the president, and I will ask Megan to handle these elections.
The temporary clerk
All right.
until we get to that.
Sure. All right. Is there a motion to elect a president or a nomination for president?
It's a nomination or just a motion?
Yeah, we can just go
I would move to appoint Gary Andrews to serve as Cuba City Board of Education president.
I will second. And just for the sake of time tonight, is everyone comfortable if I do voice vote? Legally, that's all we have to do. So we'll just do all in favor. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, congratulations, Gary.
Thank you.
No, you can take over.
And I will take over. And the vice president, is there a motion for vice president?
I'll move to appoint Dan Bowden as vice president.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Dan.
And we need a treasurer, so would someone move for a treasurer to serve the Board of Education?
I would move to appoint Chuck Pohl to serve as Cuba City Board of Education treasurer.
Is there a second for that?
I will second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations, Chuck.
And item 4 is clerk.
Move to appoint Megan Hinderman.
Thanks, bud.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Yay.
And then the point to the CISA board representative, is there a motion for that?
I'll move to appoint Gary Andrews to serve on the CISA 3 board if there is an opening for the 21, is it 21-22 or 22?
It should be
22,
23.
If there's an opening for the 22-23 school year, this person will also serve as CISA 3 convention representative.
Is there a motion or a second for that?
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
And item C is to set the time of the meetings for the next year. Board policy says it's the third Wednesday of each month, and we've been doing that at 6:30. The motion is the same. Is that, if that's acceptable, would someone so move?
I'll move to set the regular meetings on the third Wednesday of each month, beginning at 6:30 p.m.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Item D is designate the official depositories. And it allows flexibility to use all 4 banks, which has been our current policy, and that's what the motion that is printed states. If that's acceptable, would someone move?
I'll move to designate Mound City Bank of Cuba City, Midwest One Bank of Cuba City, Royal Bank of Dickeyville, and Citizens Bank of Dickeyville as official depositories of the school district of Cuba City.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
And item E is designate the official newspaper. And it's been the Tri-County Press, and that's what the motion before you appears, if someone would so move.
I'll move to designate the Tri-County Press as the official newspaper of the school district of Cuba City.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Committee memberships, there's a list before you. I have not received any requests other than from Dan. to get off of the Personnel Committee. And leaving Don and I would request a volunteer to join Don and I on that committee, please.
So would he have to switch with somebody because he'd have to be on, or not, or what? How would that work?
Dan, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, he's basically, he's already on about,
He's on 4.
4 committees, so basically he's just asking off to
Oh,
lessen
fair
the amount of meetings that he's
No.
on. So I'm seeking a volunteer before I assign somebody.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Are the rest of the committees as printed, everybody okay? Silence is golden. And then there is a motion to be made. Would someone so do?
I'll move to approve the Cuba City Board of Education committee assignments as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second. All in favor?
I,
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
Alrighty, and then we're going to skip to,
Yeah, was there anybody signed in to speak? Did anyone sign in to speak today? If anybody signed in to speak, no, okay, I was gonna say we should do that before we take any action, but if we could go right to new business so we can get Dan the baccalaureate, then we'll come back to the consent agenda items.
we're going to try and let a board member 2 go to a baccalaureate for their children. So we're moving to new business A, approve the 22-23 dental insurance renewal from Delta Dental.
Yep, this came with a locked-in rate, so there's a 0% increase from last year, so I recommend that we approve this.
If that's acceptable, would someone move?
I'll move to approve the 22-23 dental insurance renewal from Delta Dental as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Approve the 22-23 long-term disability renewal from National Insurance Services.
Yep, once again, we have a 0% increase here because we locked in on a rate before.
If there's no questions, I will move to approve the 22-23 long-term disability renewal from National Insurance Services as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Approve the 22-23 district health insurance program with Medical Associates. Aaron?
We do have Brent here to answer any questions that we have that are specific. But I'll give the overview here. We use Tricor Insurance and they put out about 12 bids to companies and we only had about 3 companies return them. They had some different options that we were looking at and looking for bids that could accommodate both Medical Associates and Southwest Health. Roughly 65% of our staff utilize Southwest Health for primary care and about 25 utilize Medical Associates, another 10% being scattered. So WEA health insurance for this year cost about $1.2 million. The bid for them, at first it came in at a 40% increase, which was an increase of over $400,000. Brent was able to get them down to a 23% increase, which was still just shy of $300,000, which we did not think was feasible. WCA gave a couple options, but again, at increases of $175,000 and $150,000. Medical Associates came in with 2 options. This is the one that I'm recommending because it does allow a point of service plan. So those people who do want to stay with Southwest Health doctors and physicians can do that. I think the most out of pocket, and I checked with Brent beforehand, the most out of pocket they would pay if they want to stay with Southwest Health for everything would be $500 for a family. Brent, is that correct?
Yeah, they pay the first $300 and $500 more, and that's if they
After that,
that's if they have over $6,000 in the claims for an individual.
correct. But that would be the most out of
Correct.
pocket.
That's correct.
Those are the ones that we're going to go with as it allows us some flexibility there. And we've had to go back and forth and changing doctors for, especially, it seems to, especially with the families that have younger kids, they want to stick with their pediatrician, allow some flexibility. In order to get this down to a point where we think it would be feasible, we're looking at increasing the deductible. Right now, we have a $300 and $600 deductible, $300 per single, $600 for family. We are raising that to, with this recommendation, we're raising that to $500 and $1,000. So the deductible would go up. Also in cash in lieu of insurance, which is 80% of our single premium. We looked at what other schools do. I believe there are 6 schools in our area of the state that give cash in lieu of insurance to begin with. And one other school was similar to us. The other 3 were all $2,500, just a flat rate. So we were, right now, those people who take cash in lieu of get about $4,800. We're recommending getting that down to $4,000. That's still above the $2,500, which is kind of the average. And this makes it to the point with medical associates that we think that we can afford that and still give wage increases, which is the next step after health insurance. So that's our recommendation. It's a raise in the deductible and lowering down cash in lieu of and going with the point of service medical associate plans.
What was the increase then from last year?
Let's see. It was at 51.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Plan B, an increase of $51,175.
Okay.
If we increase our deductible to 500 and 1,000.
Any
Okay.
questions? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so I understand, would that be like HMO's community plan for the people that want to stay with Southwest Health?
The community plan has everybody in the in-network. This has medical associates in-network, and then everybody else out of the network. So you can go to Gunderson, you can go to Mayo, you can go to Southwest Health, Beam, UW. So you have access to both of them. So it's an open network. There's actually 2 separate deductibles, but yeah,
Okay, so maybe they could choose to stay with their doctors that they have.
they can, yep. And we'll be doing some education. We'll be sending emails out next week, and then we're gonna have meetings scheduled for June 2nd for all the staff.
When does that take effect then?
What's that?
When does
July.
that take effect?
July 1st.
July 1.
July 1, yeah. But we want to get it done before, my wife's a teacher too, and once school gets done, people scatter because people have
Right,
vacations and
right.
stuff. So that's why we want to do it right away.
But, yeah, because I know HMO's got 3 different plans, you know. They got their own, then they got the community, then they got the freedom plan. You know, which is, I'm glad they're doing that because then they can keep their own that they've had, so.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Hearing none, would someone move?
I'll move to approve the district health insurance program with medical associates as presented.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Item D is approve the EMC property insurance.
Yeah, property insurance has increased quite a bit in previous years as the cost to replace them have gone up. Obviously, that's how they set it. So when building costs go up, so does property insurance. Ours went up about $7,000, which actually wasn't as bad as I'd heard some other schools had. So I was happy with only a $7,000 increase for property insurance.
If there's no questions, would someone move?
I'll move to approve the EMC property insurance as presented.
Is there-
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Alrighty, item E is grant diplomas for the Cuba City High School class of 2022.
Yep, here's a list of graduates you've got in your packet here. All of our seniors are eligible to graduate. And Gary signed them all. It goes to Megan, and then Dr. Kraus and I will sign them, and then we get them.
Would someone move?
I will move to grant diplomas for Cuba City High School class of 2022 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Item F is approve the FCCLA trip to the National Convention.
Yep, I believe this is the first time in Mrs. Merwin's time here, correct? That we've had anybody who qualifies for the FCCLA National Convention. This is from June 29th to July 3rd in San Diego, California. They've got their project that they're going to be doing is up at that table. But because it's an overnight trip, it needs approval from the board. So I'm recommending that we approve this.
Are there any questions of Mrs. Merwin? Hearing none, would someone move?
I'll move to approve the FCCLA trip to the National Convention as presented.
Is there a second?
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried, and congratulations to the students for qualifying.
Continue or just go back? Yep, I think we can go back, but Dan can.
Thank you,
Have fun
Dan.
back, Lori.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brent, appreciate it.
Thanks.
So now we'll go back to the consideration of consent agenda, and we'll just go through our normal order here.
Going back, under that, as Aaron said, the consideration of the consent agenda. Are there any items A through J that you would like pulled for further discussion? Hearing none, would someone move?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Administrative reports, curriculum report, the 612 social studies, Mrs. Gina.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right, I'll get started. All right, I'd like to start tonight's presentation by introducing you to the 612 Social Studies Department. My name is Gina Rollins, and I teach middle school social studies. We also have Ryan McGranahan and Steve Graber on our team, and they both teach high school social studies. Our team has really enjoyed working together the past 4 years, and we're proud of the work that we've accomplished as a team. Next, I would like to share our department's vision and mission statements. We created these collaboratively, and they help to clarify our priorities, sharpen our focus, and give us direction as we work to reach our goals as a department. So our vision is to create a well-informed and critically thinking electorate capable of solving complex problems on a local, state, and national level. In other words, we want our students to leave Cuba City School District with the tools they need to be successful and make a positive impact in their community and in the world. And then our mission statement. We are committed to creating high quality instruction and assessments that challenge our students to engage in critical thinking and become more civically involved. In 2018, we got new social studies standards, which led to 5 main shifts in how we design and deliver instruction and assess student learning. So I'd like to go over those. The first one is inquiry as an instructional framework, and the inquiry practices and processes strand is used within all social studies disciplines and is kind of like an umbrella strand covering all content strands. Number 2, integration across all strands. When designing lessons, units, and courses, it's important to use standards from each of the strands. For reference, there are 5 content strands: behavioral sciences, economics, geography, history, and political science. Number 3, a dynamic balance of skills and content. Social studies education is not just about memorization. The standards reflect targeted skills more than specific dot points of required content. And it's been exciting to see firsthand how this leads to increased student engagement and also retention. Number 4, K-12 is a progression. The standards are the same K-12, but the performance indicators are specific to each grade level. And this allows students to have a clear expectation of what is to come. And then number 5, civic engagement and authentic audiences. The new standards reflect a shift to college and career and community ready students. All students will participate in a community in some way throughout their lives, and providing opportunities for civic engagement in school helps prepare them to be community and civic ready upon graduation. And then here you can take a look at the work that we've done the last 4 years as a curriculum PLC. I have this on the handout, so you guys can feel free to take a look at that. But we started by unpacking the standards and also piloting resources, and then we selected and ordered those resources. In year 3, we implemented them, and then we've been developing scope and sequence documents and creating project-based learning experiences for all students. And then this year, we've continued that scope and sequence work and continue the work developing inquiry as an instructional framework. And then just a little bit about our resources. We selected our resources because they closely align with the 5 main shifts that I discussed earlier. And we have a classroom set of textbooks for students in grades 6-12, and our resources can be accessed digitally, which has been really nice, especially the past few years to have that. And then you can take a look at the handout as well if you'd like to see how they align with the 5 main shifts. Now I'm going to share some of the opportunities for our students in our content area, starting with the Geography Bee. The Geography Bee promotes geographic literacy, celebrates the successes of our students in the field of geography, and it's a great enrichment opportunity. All middle school students participate in the Geography Bee, and then we narrow it down to the top 10 finalists and crown our school champion and runner-up. Now on to National History Day. National History Day is a project-based learning experience, and students select a topic of interest that connects to an annual theme. They conduct primary and secondary research before choosing to create either an exhibit, a documentary, a website, a paper, or a performance. Cuba City Middle School has participated in National History Day since 2018. A total of 16 students have advanced to the state competition, which is something that I'm very proud of. And we've had one national qualifier, and that was last year. Usually qualifying to nationals means a trip to Washington, D.C., but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, that was canceled. And National History Day is something that we team up with Mrs. Burkett and also our English Language Arts Department. And then these are the 2 group exhibits that qualified to the state competition this year. And we had a first this year, we had a regional award winner. So this student won an award from the Wisconsin Labor History Society, and they did their project on the history of child labor in the United States. So that was exciting. Veterans Day at Cuba City School District. So due to the pandemic, we haven't had our district-wide program. We have sent flowers to local veterans and also delivered yard signs, but we are really looking forward to hopefully having our district program next year. And I'll have a team of next year's 8th graders and also some high school students that will be presenting projects at the program. This year was the first year that Cuba City High School participated in the Wisconsin Civics Games. It's presented by the Wisconsin Newspaper Association Foundation, and it emphasizes the importance of understanding how government works and the students' role in democracy. Our students did a great job. They made it to the regional finals and were in the lead going into the final round. We fell short of the state competition, but they did a really good job representing our school. And then here are a couple of pictures from some of the high school field trips. They went to the Wisconsin State Capitol, the Wisconsin Veterans Museum, and Casey McNett Funeral Home this year. And then looking ahead, we're always looking for ways to grow and to improve. And we have a couple of goals that we'd like to work on. So we want to work on balancing traditional teaching practices while leveraging technology to reimagine and reinvent classroom learning, looking at ways to use virtual reality and always improve with that. Also, how we can connect with other people. Thanks to the help of Mrs. Burkett, last fall we were able to connect with a young lady from Russia, and we were also able to connect via Google Meet with one of the female hostages of the Iran hostage crisis, and Kathleen Stafford, whose story was portrayed in the movie Argo. So that was really cool. And it was neat to see the students learn from people who had really experienced and lived history. We're always looking at ways to connect to content, community, and each other better. And then a goal that we have for next year is to do more collaboration with other disciplines. Mr. Graber and I have developed a project where we're going to research some of the local history. And so we're going to hopefully team up with other departments and then also the community for that as well. So we're excited about that. And that concludes this presentation unless there are any questions.
Great job, Jean.
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Deb, special ed.
The special ed department is finishing up evaluations and planning for the upcoming school year. As I had indicated back in, I think it was November, the average number of referrals from the past 6 years, I averaged the last 6 years initial and reevaluations. And we averaged 25 initial evals and 20 reevals for a total of 45 evaluations per year. This year, to date, and they're not all finished yet, we've had 39 initial evals and 29 re-evals for a total of 68 evaluations, which is a 52% increase over the average for the last 6 years. So that's something we'll have to see what happens next year. I'm not sure if it's a pandemic related thing or if it's just changes in needs. They've changed some criteria as well. So I'll just keep an eye on how that's going. I know that's happening in other school districts too. I'm hearing that there's a lot of increases in referrals. The other thing I'm working on is with the other CISA directors. We've created, again, this is our second year, a program to provide summer services for some of our high school students with IEPs. And it focuses on the functional social skills that are a little different from our traditional summer school program. So this year, events are scheduled once a week between June 14th and July 26th to provide opportunities for students to interact with students from other schools. And some of the events we have planned is going to the River Museum in Dubuque, going to the Mining and Rollo Jameson Museums in Platteville, the Madison Zoo, Blackhawk Lake for pontoon rides and a picnic, bowling and ice cream. And the very last event is a team building activity that Brian Kinney, who's the CISA 3 Transition Improvement Grant regional coordinator, will be providing for the students that will really get them engaged with other students from other districts. And that's all I have.
Any questions of Deb?
Thank you. Well, our middle school and high school principal is not here. She wishes she was, but Aaron's going to do it. All right.
Yep. All right, prom was held on Saturday, May 7th. A big thank you goes out to Mrs. Jewell and Mrs. Ballback for their hard work in planning and chaperoning, and to Mr. Ballback, Mr. Kopp, and Mr. Rogeman for their chaperoning as well. AP testing took place May 2nd through the 11th, so we wish all of those students good luck on those exams and thank Mrs. Adler for proctoring. There's a few activities planned over the next 2 weeks as we've identified when we were trying to plan some committee meetings. May is a pretty busy month. So we've got middle school career fair on May 26th, scholarship night on May 25th, middle school dance May 3rd, and we also have Drive Your UTV to School Day planned for tomorrow. And then, of course, graduation is set for May 27th at 7 o'clock in the high school gymnasium. Looking out, the weather looks not bad. We don't know if it's too soon to look out, but it looked like 61 degrees at 7 o'clock. So we're hoping that stays true. So best of luck to all of our seniors.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yep.
Heather, business manager report.
An update on the 21-22 budget. At the end of April, we were about 83% through our fiscal year, and we had spent about 62% of our Fund 10 budget, which is on track with where we were at last year at the end of April. The first draft of the 22-23 budget is completed, and that will be shared with the Budget and Finance Committee beginning of June. The district's Emergency Connectivity Fund Round 3 grant application has been submitted. And then last week I attended a federal funding conference. It was virtual, and they discussed topics regarding ESSER, Title 1, 2, 3, 4, IDEA funding, and maintenance of effort. And during the ESSER presentation, DPI talked, they mentioned that there's additional funds available in ESSER and that school districts that were in person during the 2021 school year might be awarded additional dollars. So I'm crossing my fingers that this summer we are notified that we are one of those districts since we were in person. And then in the state's ESSER 3 plan, they have allocated $2 million for school districts and for CISAs for professional learning and literacy. So this means that every school district is going to receive about $4,000 to spend on this particular item. And DPI said they'd be sharing more information in June.
They shared more today.
Did they?
Yeah, the grant is very prescriptive. You have to use it for literacy. You have like 3 vendors you can choose for, and so I have to talk with our elementary teachers to see if those
Will fit.
those things work with how we teach reading, because I don't want to purchase them if
Right.
it doesn't. So we just found out what those were today.
And then our audits have been scheduled for the summer. We will have a 1-day pre-audit on June 22nd. And then our full audit is scheduled for August 1st and 2nd. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Heather. Is there any questions? Alrighty, Aaron, the superintendent and elementary report.
Yep, at the elementary school, we recently completed our April reading challenge. If you saw pictures, and Mr. Krause was taped to the wall and he stuck for a couple seconds before he fell down, but that was a nice event. Grades 3 through 5 will have their fine arts night Thursday, May 26th at 6 o'clock here in the middle school, high school library, or high school gymnasium. June 6th and 7th, we'll be holding our 4K screening days at the Cuba City Elementary School. Earlier this year, 4th grader Macy Mockler entered a writing contest sponsored by Creative Communications, and Macy's poem, What Makes You Fly, has been accepted to be published in a book, A Celebration of Poets. So that's something that's really neat for Macy, so congratulations to her. 5th grade students and staff are working hard on their I'm a Star presentations and would like to invite anybody who'd like to attend on May 24th. These presentations will follow the same format as the Wax Museum, which we used to do in previous years. Book fair stats. The book fair was held at the elementary school May 2nd through the 6th, and students and staff bought almost $4,000 worth of books, so that's great. Teacher Appreciation Week was held in April, and the staff would like to thank the Board of Education for their treats in the lounge on Friday of that week. Miss Katie Audetta has been diligently preparing for the 3rd through 5th grade spring concert, which will be held at 6 p.m. on Thursday, May 26th. Anybody who'd like to attend, they'd love to have you. And field trips are in full swing. We've got a lot of grade levels going to a lot of field trips. It's nice to be able to provide field trips again. Homework Club is wrapping up. Our final time was last Thursday, and our Friday Cuban Care will be wrapping up this week, as this is the last Friday that we'll have Cuban Care. So that's what's going on at the elementary. And then district, some big things from food service. Janet Lepelholz and her team were selected as one of the winners of the Dairy and Schools Food Service Equipment Award Challenges. Jesse Dinar and Janet worked on this together, and they are allowed to pick one of the few prizes, and they've got something picked to keep our milk cold on field trips. They were also recipients of the School Breakfast Expansion Grant for both semesters, the 2022 and 23 school year. They get $4,000 each semester, so they're going to be using that. Continuing with special events like National School Breakfast Week, creating new events, and serve more scratch items for breakfast. So the grant will cover the cost of all these items. And a big congratulations goes out to Janet and the entire food service team. Our district survey hit inboxes and mailboxes this month. In the first day, there were over 200 respondents. As of about an hour ago, we had 289. And although we don't have any preliminary data, they were hoping if we got to 400 responses, that would be great. And we're already about 3/4 of the way there, and it's still open for a couple weeks. So we continue to meet with our teachers certified union. Once we're ready, we'll meet with the personnel committee and then the board on wage increases for the certified staff. So more information will be coming there. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met this week to support a project that we will start in late June on removing some floor tile with asbestos in it, replacing them with safer products. This will be an item on our June agenda, or if we have a special meeting before that, we'll have that. Basically, this whole hallway from where the ramp starts, it's a little green. Some of those tiles are breaking apart, and the asbestos tile is fine as long as it stays in one place. As soon as it starts to break, then it's dangerous. So because there's a lot of that tile down there, they're just going to seal off that entire section. It's going to be about a $70,000 project. But our kids are walking through that. Our custodians are cleaning that every year. And that's something that we need to invest in to make sure that our students, our staff are working in a safe environment. So that'll be pretty much sealed off for about, Chuck, was it 6 weeks? Start to finish, about 6 weeks. Nobody will be able to get in there. We'll still be able to run band because there's an exterior door, so we can still do band lessons and band things. And they'll seal it off so the band room won't be impacted. The tech ed, the shop area will be available because we're going to be storing some things in there, but everything else will pretty much be off limits to everybody. And then last thing, I'd like to ask Laura Wilberding to come up and accept her gift from the school district of Cuba City for her retirement for her years of service. Come up.
Can somebody get a picture?
I can probably do that.
Can I come back by you so I'm not standing in front?
Laura, wherever you want.
Take a
Laura.
picture.
Laura, you're running from the picture.
I don't know, just you, I think.
We have our board members all got to
That's
stand
why I
behind.
wanted to go back there.
You
I
can
need
go back
someone to
there,
hide
Laura. I don't
behind.
wanna go back.
I'm with you. I thought you wanted to go over there and open up your gift.
Yeah.
No. I want to.
Right in the middle.
Okay,
Miss Laura, thank you for you.
thank you.
Everybody ready?
Sure. So, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
very
you, Laura.
much.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so now we jump
Thank
back
you
to
very much.
personnel.
All right, we're going to move to personnel then. And item A talks about approving the hiring of Susan Meyer as NHS advisor.
Yep, this is a position that Laura, who's retiring, has held, and so Dr. Kraus and I both recommend that we approve this hire.
Did someone so move?
I'll move to approve the hiring of Susan Meyer for NHS advisor as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
And just to be clear, I was moving quickly before to get Dan out to baccalaureate. I was having a little trouble hearing, so I will do a voice vote on these, just to be clear. Collins,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Schrader, nope, he's not here. Hinderman, yes. Paul,
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
Item B is approve the hiring of Becky Sitz as the Cuba City High School head forensics coach.
Yep, Dr. Kraus and I both recommend that we approve this hire as well.
I'll move to approve the hiring of Becky Sitz as Cuba City High School head forensics coach as presented.
Second.
Collins.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Paul,
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Becky. Congratulations. Item C is approve the hiring of Kirsten Slot as the high school assistant forensics coach.
Yep, Dr. Kraus and I both recommend that we approve this as well.
I
Do you
will,
have to separate you? I had to get one.
I will move to approve
Students are better.
Kirsten Slot as the high school assistant forensics coach as presented. Is there a second?
I will second. Collins.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Paul,
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Committee reports, budget and finance, anything, Chuck?
No, we haven't met.
We'll meet at June 1st to go over the first draft of the budget.
Building and grounds, we met Monday night. So where we're gonna end up.
I'm sorry?
On the
You're gonna meet
some
Monday
other
night.
items.
Yeah.
We met last
You
month.
met last
Yeah.
Monday, yep. Communications review and strategic planning,
We're kind of doing that with special board meetings right now.
yep. Curriculum, instruction and assessment, you'll meet in the summer, the way it looks. Personnel, you had mentioned that in your report, Aaron, we will meet when you have met with staff.
Carrie, I got one question there.
Yep.
I called you about the dean of students. That was a one-year job.
Yep.
To, is that on the wayside now, or?
That's my understanding.
Yep.
We will
Okay.
not
So there
rehire.
won't be a Dean Stutes next year?
Correct.
All right,
It was
Thank
just,
you.
just an interim because we
That's
didn't
what I
have a
thought.
principal.
okay. Thank you.
Policy, you met on April 6th
We
and.
meet about every 4 months or so.
We'll be together in the fall.
Okay. Technology and transportation, it looks like there's a meeting coming June 1st on that. And foundation had their meeting for the year.
It was good at that point. I don't know where it is today.
Yeah. Stock market looked a lot better on March 2nd.
Yeah.
He's been doing a good job.
And as CISA 3 rep, pretty much, they've handled all of their contracts as insurance, and they, did offer their early retirement, IRA, and they had a handful of, very long-term employees, retire, and they're having a party at the Basketball Bowling Alley, next Monday night to celebrate, those retirees, as well as a couple border control members who were retiring after many years. So, other than that, I don't have anything, so I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.